Dieser Planet gehört nicht uns. Vorzeitlichen Spezies gehörte diese Welt lange vor den Menschen. Ich habe 30 Jahre lang versucht, es zu beweisen. Monster existieren.
Well, I think because he has so much vulnerability and humanity. I mean, there is this side of him that's very strong and tough and dangerous, and he's so big. But then he's actually very sweet. And so I think that having that dichotomy makes for a really dynamic character. Well, the first one that I saw was the Peter Jackson one in theaters. Yeah, that's my first memory. Well, I auditioned for it, so it wasn't quite that simple, but when I read the script, I was really struck by the fact that there are real issues within this film. And that's what I'm always looking for at any scale, big or small. You're looking for a film that is really entertaining on the surface, but then has something underneath it that has value, that has meaning, that's beyond just, you know, being excited to watch a film in the theater, that it actually leaves you with some sort of philosophical question that you have to ask yourself. I won't give all of them away, but I think some of them have to do with our environment, of course. I mean, that's a huge part of this, of like how we want to protect our environment, what's worth fighting for, what's important to us. That's a really good question. Well, that was one of the big questions that we had before starting this film, was how do we continue to protect it? But we had a whole crew of people that were in charge of that. I mean, it was smaller crews, I guess, when we were actually shooting in certain parts. And you just try and leave the place better than when you got there. In Vietnam in particular, I mean, we just had vast landscapes, and I believe that there were lots of people that were in charge of cleaning up after we were there. Because I agree with you. You want these places to still be there so that if someone watches this film and goes, I want to go there, that it still exists.
Wir gehören nicht hierher.
Aber die Teufel leben unter uns. Ich nenne sie Schädelkriecher.
Wieso?
Weil's toll klingt.
Okay.
Den Namen habe ich eben erfunden. Ich will ihnen Angst einjagen.
Von mir aus nennen wir die so. Ist das für
Ja,
Sie
das
auch
erscheint
okay?
mir ein,
Ich
wie
finde
ein
den
guter
Namen
Name.
gut.
I was making this movie at the same time as the Oscars, so I flew back to Vietnam to finish this film right after the award ceremony. So this is still a little remnant of before all of that. So it was a wonderful dichotomy, because I was flying between, you know, wearing gowns on the weekends to then being in the mud, being chased by imaginary monsters during the week. Well, it depended on the place. Like in Australia, we had to learn a lot about what was in these jungles that we were at, because there's a lot of plants in particular. Like there are these ones that have these spikes on them, so if we had to be careful, because if we were running too fast, they might grab onto our clothes and take us down. But I found that stuff really fascinating, that in each place they have just very specific, different types of plant and animal life that we got to learn about. I mean, I think in general, for me, it's just playing characters that are dynamic and complex. What's cool about this film is the fact that we were able to take it in a new direction. It's that same myth, but it's in a new way. And so because of that, we had some freedom that every character kind of got to be its own new thing, including the female character. Well, when it came to Kong, I mean, I just started thinking about when I was in India, I got to like meet an elephant, and I was very conflicted by the experience, because it's this very large, powerful creature that I just knew could like crush me at any moment, but it chose not to. It's actually a very, very sweet, gentle, docile creature. And so that was what I brought to it. So in my interactions with Kong, I thought about that experience of feeling the power and the strength that's that close to you, and then the beauty and the choice to not actually hurt someone. Probably a giant snake. Yeah. That just seems too intense for me. Even snakes that are a normal size are too intense for me. So yeah, giant snake. Well, you know that I can't answer that question. But that's really a great question, but I can't answer it.